Welcome to the SoundCentric podcast. I am your host, Adam Dash. And today we are joined by someone who I've been following since I was in high school, one of my favorite artists who has the most amazing references, which I will talk about this as we go on.
Hell yeah.
But Ben Beal, welcome to the SoundCentric podcast.
Dude, thanks for having me. I'm hyped to be here.
Let's get right into it. The way we start is that we like to highlight how we're feeling the week by choosing a playlist title of the week, which is usually just a song that would highlight that playlist. So to give you a little bit of time to think, I'll tell you mine first. Mine's going to be Kareem Liddell, his song Wasteland. I think you'd actually love Kareem. Very similar style to you. And he's a monotone but amazing voice, kind of like Boldy James type stuff.
I was about to say, the second I heard the monotone buzzword, it's Boldy James is the king of monotone right now. And
bro, the new album is so good.
Bro, he's special. And he gets a lot of controversy for being that very... his affect is flat, but he is so fucking genius with his writing, his flow choices. It completely outclasses the monotone. But I think it's just one big bundle that works. And yeah, I love Boldy. A lot of rappers in that lane are getting their shine finally, and it's cool to see, more niche, lo-fi sample-based rap, kind of poking through, because it's getting overshadowed by a lot of other raps, subcategories.
It's not even just the punchlines. I just love his phrasing. It's such a specific way of saying things.
He's a poet, dude. Some of his lines cut.
It hits deep. But Kareem also released a music video, so shout out to Kareem. Really love the song.
Yeah, you got to put me on.
Yeah, but Ben, how are we feeling? What's highlighting your playlist this week?
Oh, dude, I've been listening to a lot of rap recently, but I gotta show love to my boy Haji Gaviota. I've been craving a vacation. I've been craving some other form of sun other than the LA dry heat out here. He just dropped a song called Fiji. It's been in constant rotation, and it's making me want to, go to an island. So, yeah, gotta show love to Haji. Amazing artist. Representing Greece with every catchy hook. So yeah, Fiji by Haji Gaviota.
Hey, shout out Haji. Well, to get into things, I wanted to start out with a few different rankings. Kind of debate. So the first question is, because I saw this on Twitter and I was really thinking about it. As an artist, would you rather be coming up in the 2000 CD era of selling CDs at your car, or the blog era, so kind of like the Mac Miller, Logic, J. Cole come up, SoundCloud era, which is what you came up in, or, and I'm assuming this will not be the answer and will be last ranked, the TikTok era of being an artist?
I have very strong opinions on this, especially because I witnessed everything in real time, and if I could do it all over again, I wish I was, a couple years younger than I am currently in 2008, 2009, with the talent I have now, because I saw the impact the blog era had on releasing music. Sick. It was so much more for the love of the art, and the way it worked was artists would drop mixtapes instead of dropping songs that were editorial driven, and a lot of artists now are only dropping singles to try to get Spotify playlists and get their quick streaming bag. But the thing I really admired about the blog era was artists like Wiz Khalifa, Mac Miller, J. Cole, even artists like Lil Wayne, who understood the impact that free music had on their fan base. It's like giving a gift to your fans. Awesome. I saw their come-ups in real time, and it felt like whenever I would download a mixtape from DatPiff, I was part of that journey.
There it is, yeah.
Mac Miller did this really cool thing when he first started to pop off. So, this was before Blue Slide Park dropped his debut album. Mm-hmm. It was after Best Day Ever. He was doing this thing called Road to a Million, where every 100,000 followers he got on Twitter, he dropped a single, and then he promised a special mixtape at 1 million followers. And dude, the amount of excitement me and all my friends had, and my high school was buzzing. Everyone was so excited. We would check his Twitter every day to see where he was. There's no excitement like that anymore. I haven't seen anything like it. It just felt like we were there for the beginning stages and growing with him. That's also another reason why I've always had a special connection with Mac Miller. I feel like I was there from the start, and I was 12 when I found him, still listening to him daily. So the thing about the blog era that was just incredible was just there was never a lack of free good music. Artists were rapping on industry beats. Like Lil Wayne fucking rapped on "Rolling in the Deep" by Adele, and it was the greatest song I've ever heard at the
Sick.
time. Um, if a blog picked you up and posted you, hundreds of thousands of kids in middle, high school, college, they were checking blogs every day. It was social media wasn't as powerful, and the music blogs were dictating what was popping and what wasn't.
Hmm.
And I saw artists have their lives changed because like Good Music All Day would post their mixtape.
Yeah.
I
Good
remember
music
when
all
I was
day.
in like ninth or 10th grade, and I dropped a song called "A Year" for New Year's, and Good Music All Day posted it. The next
It
day on
must have been the
SoundCloud,
best feeling ever.
it had 200,000 streams the next day. Uh, like the organic engagement was insane. It's not algorithmic. It's like care packages
Yeah.
directly to the fans. So there's nothing like that impact. It was super organic. Now with like TikTok, it's all algorithmic. It's passive
Yeah, it
viewership,
sucks.
and you're literally the only goal is to try to convert it to streams. Like you're not going to get fans on TikTok unless you get injured or embarrass yourself. You can't just lip sync
Yeah.
music anymore and people find it. There's too many talented artists now. Everyone can make music. It's so accessible. But
Yeah.
back in like 2009, 2010, when it was before the home studio era, it was like artists were getting shots that you don't get now. And it's now
Yeah.
you have to be everything. You have to be a video editor. You have to be
It
a
sucks.
creative director. You have to be the artist. It's too much. It's not feasible. I suck at making content, so I personally fucking hate it. Uh, the blog era is definitely my choice.
Yeah, there's a different type of creativity during the blog era, and I'm 4 years younger than you, so I was just listening to whatever my brothers put on my iPod. But at the time, there's people like J. Cole was going on a tour called the Dollar and a Dream Tour, where he's only doing shows for $1. And there was a sense of knowing how important building the fan base was over how much money you could make in the short term, which I
Yeah,
think was very much appreciated. I mean, the first person I remember falling in love with, besides like the frat rap I grew up on, was Chance the Rapper. And this 10 Day coming out, then like my brother was at Lehigh, and I remember him performing at Lehigh and begging my mom, like, please let me go. And she's like, you're 13. You're not seeing your brother in college to
you're
see
not
Chance
going
the
to a
Rapper.
college show.
But
Yeah, no, I that was a moment in time I definitely remember fondly. Like when Chance was still good, it was absolutely incredible to see his
I
come
got
up.
I got faith in my man. He's gonna bounce back. Let's
I
pray.
mean, somewhere in there, that suspended high school kid's still there, but
Suspend.
I've had too many artists that I've lost faith in over the years, and uh, now, like I said, there's so much music.
Yeah,
I can't just
it's hard.
blindly wait for a good song. You'd have to impress me.
Yeah, I can give you a rant after this about a specific artist that upsets me currently with his output. But to
I,
get
I think
into
I
our
know who it is. I think I could tell. Like
to get
I
into
could
our
I could make a ballpark guess.
to get into our next ranking, um, it's definitely the top three artists of all time. This could be my favorite artist of all time. I always say it's J. Cole, but it could be this man. I know it's your favorite artist of all time, Mac Miller. Can you give me your top four Mac Miller albums? And I know my answer is literally dependent on the day, but I'm gonna try to give what I think my general ranking is. But what is your ranking?
It changes often because it literally changes with the seasons, like depending on my mood. But number one is Faces, hands down. It's you know like a perfect album. It's so raw. He
It's
produced a lot
amazing.
of the songs. The lyrics were much less about the fun he was having as a child celebrity that just became a huge star. It was more like the internal struggles he was facing every day, and it was weird. It was gritty. The features were incredible. He was having Schoolboy
Killed
Q
it.
on the album just to chirp in the court. Like
Miller Mac.
he was having
Mac
so much
Miller
fun,
Mac.
but you could also tell he was going through it. And I relate to that
Mm,
heavy. There are days where I'm having so much fun making music, and there are days where it's fucking awful. And if I had a bad day, it shows in my music, and it seems like you could tell everything he was feeling at the time.
yeah,
Fucking love Faces. Highly recommend listening front to back. And the bonus songs that just dropped are incredible too.
amazing.
Number two, I'm gonna have to go Good AM. It's not a lot of people's favorite Mac Miller album.
It's his best
I
rapping,
have it's
I
dude,
think.
it's
Like rapping, like lyrically.
the reason why I love it so much is because you could tell he was, fighting for a spot as one of the biggest artists in the world. Like he wanted to have a successful radio album.
Yeah,
Just one that breaks into the top 40, and he did that. He ended up having, big hits
Two
on
top
it.
songs, yeah.
Yeah, but uh, he raps his ass off. The songs are fucking incredible. His hooks were great. It just sounded very developed. And as like a Mac Miller fan that's been listening to him forever, like I listened to him for literally like 10 years at that point. Was so cool to hear his maturity. Like it felt like the pinnacle of Mac,
Yeah,
and the songs were amazing. And then me and my friends got to see him live on that tour, which
I
was
wish.
super special. It was such a good fucking show. First time I've ever been in the same room as Mac Miller, and bro, like Chief Keef feature. Are you kidding me?
Crazy.
It's
Did-
amazing album. Three would have to be Kids. There's nothing like it. It's just
mhm.
a moment in time for me. I'd heard it for the first time at summer camp. I was 12, so 12 or 13. I was super young when I heard it.
Yeah.
Super impressionable. It is the reason I started smoking weed. I just thought he was like one of the coolest people ever.
Yeah.
Really, really fucked with the passion and the energy, the imagery of just like, you know, it feels like a lightning in the bottle type album where it teleports you back to that time you heard it for the first time. So
hmm
still in constant rotation, and it's just nostalgic. It just feels like
Yeah.
at camp hearing it for the first time every time. That's favorite song on it's La La La, which they didn't end up putting on the album. It's probably sample clearance, but it's dude, it just feels like a New York summer, even though it's definitely
Yeah.
a Pittsburgh album. I don't know. It's amazing. And then fourth, I'd have to say, watch movies with the sound off. Phenomenal. The reason why I don't put Swimming and Circles up there, even though they're tens in my opinion, are because I've had a lot of time to sit with the other albums, and
Yeah. Understandable.
I grew up with them. They're super pivotal in my music career and just in my personal growth. But uh, I didn't listen to Swimming for a full year and a half after it dropped because
Too
I
sad.
didn't listen to it when it came out for some reason. I listened to a couple songs, but I was kind of just like pigeonholed in a specific niche of music I was listening to at the time. Just never got around to it.
Yeah.
But then he died, and I was too sad to listen to it.
Understandable. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was. I know where I was when it happened, and
yeah.
just the
I didn't leave my
gym.
room for like 2 weeks. It was
Yeah,
terrible.
cried to my mom, and now my mom's like, "Oh my god, I love that guy" when I'm playing the NPR Tiny Desk,
Yeah, dude. My
and
dad loves Mac Miller. Never gave him the light of day when I was
yeah,
listening to him as a kid, but um, Mac is someone who's proven himself as an artist. He's not just
yeah.
a rapper.
I think
He's the
is
real deal.
like besides Kanye and maybe Tyler now, I think he has like the best current discography. Like I think his discography is insane. That
He
everyone has a
doesn't
different
really have a
ranking.
miss.
It's like
He's so consistent throughout his whole career. I love Mac, man. I really, a lot of people compare me to him. It's the biggest compliment ever. A lot of people
yeah,
feel like I'm purposely biting him and disrespecting his legacy by sounding similar, but
it's
you know,
stupid.
you hear my voice. We're just two white Jews from a
Jewish
suburb
guys.
outside a major city, uh, and he is a huge influence of mine. I listen to his songs so much to the point where um, certain flows and rhyme schemes and like it sticks with you. Like every
Yeah,
influence should. But it's a huge compliment. I'm such a big Mac fan.
yeah. He's the goat. My ranking quickly. My one. I'm gonna go the poster behind me if you can see it. I'm gonna go Swimming. That was the hardest time in my life when that came out, and it was my favorite album, and it's remained. And thankfully, sometimes music, if you listen to it during a bad time, it's hard to revisit that album because like it just
Yeah,
brings you back to that time. Thankfully, it's standed the test of time for me. That like I can still listen to it and not be like, oh, this is making me depressed. But Swimming was just so important to me. Number two, I'm gonna go Faces. I think Faces is so influential in my rapping style. Like the ad libs I use, like Friends might be my favorite song on the album, which is a
so
weird
good.
choice because it's just like a 7 minute him rapping. But I just like love the ad libs that are going on in the background along with his like funny ass lines. I rapped over like Diablo was like the third song I ever dropped was over Diablo, and the beats are insane. The rap is insane. The features Vince Staples that song that might be the hardest beat ever. New Faces, and it's so good. Number
I mean,
three.
it's hard to fail when like your best friends are all the biggest artists in
Yeah,
the
it helps.
rap. I mean, dude, like Thundercat's a human cheat code. If you make music with Thundercat, it's automatically incredible. Um,
I just
I met Thundercat a couple times out here, and
how's that?
he exudes this energy that I've never felt around another human being. Like, there's something about him that's just screams like classic musician. He's so cool, but like I said, human cheat code.
Yeah.
He's the best bassist alive. He's fucking incredible.
I saw a story the other day that I didn't know that when Mac was filming his Tiny Desk, that Thundercat was in like Japan or something, or like,
Mm-hmm.
he was in Europe and like canceled a bunch of concerts just to do the video, which is
Yep.
just like such a cool story to hear. And like what a great moment. Like he's probably so thankful that he came home and
It's
did that.
friendship.
Yeah, real friendship. That often
Hell
in the
yeah.
music industry, you hear about it not being always real people, but like we could talk about Mac forever. I don't want this just to be
Mac being a
Mac.
real person in the music industry was his downfall, unfortunately.
He put so many people on. But
Yeah.
number 3, I'm gonna go Good AM. I think that's his best like skill rapping. Like he was just clean and he was just. I was listening to the whole album today. Like Break the Law when I'm in the gym. It's just like my favorite shit. I wake up with the taste of pussy. And number 4, this album is just my whole freshman year of college, especially when I was just my second semester. Circles was just so. It's actually. I literally can't listen to it now because it reminds me of college and I just graduated and it makes me way too sad. I'm like, I can picture myself walking in the winter, like to different like seniors' houses in the fraternity, and I was like, it's hard for me.
Yeah, it's that's a. I mean, the thing about Mac was something about each one of his albums. It's like a place and time. It's like
Yeah,
Circles came out. I sat with it for like a year, and then it already felt nostalgic after a year.
yeah.
Like it's ridiculous. He's super sad he's gone, but really glad that he was able to put out such a monumental discography in his time that he was here. Bro, he got famous when he was a junior in high school. Like
It's insane.
the fact that he had that output and consistency his entire career is like
He made
remarkable.
he made Dang at 25. Like how
Bro, he made faces at
at 22,
20,
21?
21 or 23.
That makes me feel shitty. To get into your music, which is why we're here, because you're amazing. So you started a new series recently that could have been since 2023. Want to make sure, but looking at Bird's experiment, that you've been dropping a new song every week, which is such an amazing idea, especially as an indie artist. Sometimes people shelf stuff for too long. And I think it sucks, but you have to be putting yourself out there as an indie artist, and dropping weekly is perfect. What went into your thought process for why you did this? And I know you posted a tweet about the results today, but tell me about the results that you've been seeing from that.
Looking at birds is like the most fun I've had with music since I started. I swear to God, it was not something I set out to do. It was something that kind of materialized when I signed a deal with Twitch and I had to live stream making music. It was, pretty tedious to get on camera for 60 hours a month and literally just make music because I was signed to the music department. So I was thinking of ways I could make it more fun and interactive. And the thing about streaming is you're just looking for any way to kill the time because at the end of the day, you're just on camera in front of a lot of people. There's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of pressure. But one thing I've always been good at is making music quickly and making it at least listenable. So what I did was I was making songs from scratch. I was making the beat. Something cool I was doing with my Twitch chat was we were listening to records that I'd pick out, and then we'd find samples together. Everyone would tell me like, "Yo,
That's
this
awesome.
is the one."
It's like
Flip
rhythm
this.
roulette. That's sick.
Exactly. And I'm a really solid producer. I've always been doing stuff like that where
Yeah.
flipping records, getting dollar bin records and finding samples, making, something out of nothing. I'd make the beat from scratch with the Twitch chat. They'd see the entire process of how I do it. Then I'd record on it, same stream. Full song would be done within 2 hours. And, it's a lot of people think that making something really quickly kills the chances of it, being
That's not true. Yeah.
as impactful as something that takes weeks to do. But the reason why I built, I guess the recipe that I followed when I was younger coming up on SoundCloud was I wasn't overthinking anything. I was just laying down my feelings on good production, and I wasn't considering this song will stream well or this song will get an editorial. It was more so like super proud of this, putting it out. I'll sit on it after it's out, and other people could sit with it. So it's in its rawest form, like for sure. I'm not an engineer. I suck at mixing and mastering, so a lot of the songs are rough.
It's the worst process.
But I feel like it feels raw. It feels as authentic as possible. A lot of my fans were there when I made the music. So what I would do is I'd finish the song on stream and then schedule it in the same stream, like schedule it for distribution through Too Lost. And it started as this thing where every 2 weeks I'd have a Looking at Bird song drop, and it was cool because the fans were like, "Oh shit, I remember when you made this." Like they'd post about it, but then some of the songs started to like actually move and do numbers, and I started getting a lot more texts from my friends like, "I don't want to be a dick, but Looking at Birds is sounding better than a lot of your recent releases in your actual catalog." And that may seem like an insult, but I'm still looking at birds too. So it's not like they're saying my main shit's bad. I was just like, interesting, because I'm trying less hard. I'm not overthinking. I'm not being political about how this is going to perform on streaming. I'm having fun doing it. Like it's a cool project. And Looking at Birds is a hard ass name. I fucking love it. So
it's a good name.
What I started to do was I started to schedule music, just stack my release schedule, get as much as I can on the schedule so that I had a consistent, output being dropped. And it got to this point where I had like 4 months of music scheduled, and every Friday there's another song coming out. I didn't like, it is an experiment, but I didn't start this as like I didn't do this to test the algorithm and see what happens. Like literally just happened naturally and organically, and it's doing really well, and I'm super proud of the music. It gives me a separate space to be experimental and try what works and what doesn't. It's going great. I love it. The music's really good. I could drop shit I'm usually not doing. So it's popping off. It's every day it goes up another few hundred monthly listeners on Spotify. My song Otani is going crazy. Don't know how it's going crazy. I don't promote anything, but having so much fun doing it. It's just like one of my brain children.
Yeah, and I think the biggest part, and you mentioned this, but like it's the fact that the fans feel like they were a part of making the song, which is like why, like even if the song wasn't necessarily your best song, because they felt like they were a part of it, it's what makes them feel like I have an actual connection to the song. Like, oh my God, I suggested that reference to Ben. Like, that's so cool that he plays that in this song, and you're doing real fan building. That's so important.
It's cool. It's like I really like seeing it's an instant gratification thing too. Like I love having music drop every week. Love seeing what works and what doesn't, but it's fun for everyone. Good music's good music. People are gonna find it if it hits, and that's exactly what's happening.
Do you have an opinion as an indie artist on whether people should drop Fridays or should they drop like on a Tuesday and not deal with that competition of mainstream people?
My answer would have been a lot different a couple months ago, but Looking at Birds has taught me it doesn't fucking matter. I'm an A&R manager for Too Lost. I oversee a lot of big artist releases and sign a lot of big projects, and separate conversation, but everyone is told drop Friday, you'll hit algorithm on the first day, and your song will get release radar and Discover Weekly, the two algorithmic drivers of Spotify streams, whatever. Spotify doesn't even pay the most money. I don't know why it's the most important thing ever. It's just everyone should be focused on just building a good catalog, because that's what all my favorite artists did in the blog era. They were just putting out good music and stood the test of time. I will say though, in terms of like best practices and optimizing your releases, it doesn't matter. I've had really successful releases dropped on a Tuesday or a Thursday or even a Sunday. Yeah. Come the next Friday, you're still going to get those algorithmic placements, but your goal shouldn't be algorithm. It should be reaching real fans. And the only way you could do that is by dropping good music, making, meaningful content, not just lip syncing videos, which is what I've tried a million times and it doesn't fucking work.
It's so uncomfortable.
Just bobbing. I encourage like every independent artist to Like, just have fun with it. Just stop thinking about the streams. If you make good music, people are gonna find it.
Yeah.
All my biggest songs were scheduled one day in advance. Like,
Like
it doesn't matter.
like Kenny Beats says, don't overthink shit.
Exactly, which is impossible to do as an artist. We're the most self-conscious people ever, but
Yep.
get over it.
So I saw, to shift the conversation, I saw recently that Quentin Tarantino was asked about other directors, and he was like, "Oh, David Fincher is an amazing director, but there's a difference between writing and directing your movies and just directing the movie. You are a rapper producer. Do you view that similarly? That there is a difference between a rapper writer, a rapper producer, which used to be something that was held against you, and like it was held against Kanye, like, oh, you're just a rapper producer, you're not a rapper. But now it's looked at like kind of like the directing, writing at the same time. So, kind of, what is your opinion on being a rapper producer?
First of all, I think Tarantino's wrong. I think just putting yourself out there as an artist and making, taking risks with your creative direction, like, doesn't fucking matter if you wrote and directed the movie, because Quentin Tarantino could write and direct a movie that's ass, and like Christopher Nolan could just direct a movie that's fucking incredible, that's true to his vision,
Yeah,
and it immediately disproves that point. Like, writing, like, being a producer and an artist makes it easier for sure, and it lets you stay true to your vision. Like, I know what I want best in like my own artistic direction, but dude, if you work with amazing producers that are better than you and more talented, the actual song is going to be better and has the chance to have a bigger impact. So, and Tarantino's made some movies that are poorly written, like Dusk Till Dawn. What the fuck is, like, why did he cast himself? He's an atrocious actor, and it's like, it's impossible to take him seriously as a second lead.
I haven't seen it.
Like,
That might be the only one I haven't seen yet. I just
don't
watched
see
Jackie.
it. It's stupid.
I just
It's
watched
a
Jackie
lot of
Brown
people
for the
like
first
it,
time.
but dude, he cast himself as, like, he has sex with Salma Hayek in it. Like, he's a fucking dickhead.
He's a weird guy.
No disrespect, Quentin. Nah, I don't care. I
Nolan's the
think
goat anyway. I'm a Nolan superiorist.
he's made some incredible. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of my favorite movies ever. But you could, like, make an argument for being a producer and a rapper makes you, as a creative, like, just more efficient. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it comes down to the finished product, and people are going to consider you a better director if the movie is as good as possible. And if you work with better writers than you, the movie's going to be better than it would have been if you wrote it.
Yeah.
So I definitely love making beats. I love rapping on them. I've had songs that I produced that have done extraordinarily well, but I still think that when I make a song with, like, Elijah Who or Swum or produced by Jay, the song's going to be better than it would have been if I forced myself to do every last step of the process. And it's situational, of course, but, like, I don't like generalizing the process. Like, people make shit work with other people. I do think, however, Kanye having 95 people help him with his beats.
That was my literal next question I was going to say. Like, the 20 guys in a hi-hat, what's your opinion on that?
Like, figure it out, dude. Like,
It's OD.
First of all, he's making mid music now, but and it's not just because I'm Jewish, but he I do think if you're relying on that many people to make something that, is underwhelming,
It's too much.
you should take a step back from art and remember why you started making it in the first place. Like, I'm not knocking people that need a team. Like, everyone's process is different. Some people are just good performers and need, 10 people in a studio to help them make a perfect song. And if the perfect song is made, then the job is done at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, like, if you're supposed to be one of the best producers and rapper combos of the generation, and you've fallen off so hard that you need young people in the room to keep you some glimpse of relevant, it's like, it's hard to convince yourself that that's authentic art,
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm not the spokesperson for what's art and what's not. It's everyone likes different shit. Some people still like Kanye, and Kanye is a good example, but a lot of artists have the same process.
Yeah.
I I love producers working together. I love sessions where a lot of people have different input on the same beat. It's, you know,
Yeah.
creative energy and collaboration really guides, good music.
Hmm.
But he's not adding 28 other names to the feature list of the like he's not
Yeah, they're not.
not
Yeah,
crediting 28 people for the hi-hats. He's, you know, it's I could write an essay
he's
on
annoying.
this bullshit,
Nah,
but
he's annoying as hell.
it's
We,
frustrating
we
for sure.
I had to officially change my background from the Life of Pablo, him doing this, to J. Cole. I couldn't keep opening my phone, and people being like, "Is that Kanye?" I'm like, "Yeah, I gotta change this."
Yeah, man. And I separate a lot of art from artists depending on
What they
the
did.
severity of shit.
Yeah.
Um, like if the artist is a terrible person, it discredits their music for me. Um,
Yeah.
but I'll still listen to music and gauge opinions not based on who the person is, the same way I do it for a good person.
Yeah.
Like Lil Yachty could be the nicest person ever, but if he drops an ass song, it's an ass song. Um, don't know why people are still Chris Brown fans. Uh, you know, it's Kanye. I'm still gonna listen to whatever he drops, and I'm still gonna think he's a god awful person. Um,
Yep.
it's just not gonna resonate with me
Yeah.
the same way it used to. Even if he drops his best song of all time tomorrow, I'm gonna be
Yeah.
like, this would have been amazing if he was, you know, not on the craziest downward spiral I've ever seen.
Yeah. It's wild.
I don't know. It's
Uh,
it's sad, but at the same time, just figure your shit out, man.
yeah. I'm a big fan of the rapper producer combo. That's obviously been a thing forever, but I love that that's such a popular thing. Like Boldy James, Nicholas Craven, or Alchemist, and any rapper who he makes become the best rapper in the world when
Big
that
fan of
album
that
drops.
too. I
It's
think
awesome.
Alchemist. I tweeted this a couple weeks back, and I got a lot of hate, which I don't know why, because I thought we were all on the same page about the Alchemist. Um, I said he's one of the best A&Rs of all time in terms of
Yeah.
his contributions to hip hop and what he's doing for this younger class of artists that are coming up, making shit that isn't necessarily prevalent, but it's getting shine because of the talent.
Yeah.
He's working with people that aren't gonna make him $1 trillion off an album. He's genuinely putting these young rappers on because they're making incredible bodies of work. He's not dropping a million singles. He's dropping full albums with rappers like he just dropped an amazing project with Conway and West Side Gun.
Yeah.
He's doing full albums with Boldy James and Arm& Hammer, and it says a lot about his ear
Hmm.
because everything he's done with in terms of full body of work with these rappers has been super consistent, front to back, amazing listens. He's one of the best producers alive, one of my personal favorites. I think he's like a godsend for
He's
rap
awesome.
and hip hop. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of other producers that are doing similar things. Like I love the producer rapper combo. I attribute most of my success to the amazing producers that I'm lucky to work with, but uh, Alchemist is definitely like my favorite case of someone putting someone else on. And
Yeah.
in this current content driven industry, he's still so focused on just the music and building his own thing. But that being said, uh, yeah, got a lot of hate for that comment, and
Well, I don't even know
subjective.
what there is to hate. It's just
I
like
say a
he's
lot of
really good at
bold
finding
shit
artists.
without
But I don't
doing
even think
proper
that's bold.
diligence.
He just makes music with good low key artists and makes them a little bit less low key.
I
But that's
think
not
that
even
the
that.
reason why people were mad at it is because I don't know every fucking A&R that's existed. I don't know the extent of
How
Rick
about Barry
Rubin's.
Gordy?
Yeah, it's like I really don't know the extent of like what Rick Rubin's done. I should probably research it. Um
I know he cut
I'm
out the
trying to think
drums
of
in the
other ones,
beginning of
but I'm
99
drawing.
Problems.
Yeah,
That's all I
he's
got.
obviously a legend, but some of his
Yeah.
stories make me cringe a little bit.
Well, one of my favorite things in rap is, and I talked about this before, is the phrasing of things. I love artists who are able to display what they like outside of rap. And one of the biggest examples of that is Action Bronson, who like I love. Just you can just, or like West Side Gun talking about wrestlers. Action Bronson is talking about random sport teams he's putting a bet on. And you can like, I just love seeing his whole personality in his music. And I think you do that exceptionally well. I wrote down a couple references you made. Some of these are in the same song. You reference Max and Ruby. Love that you
Yeah.
reference Max and
Hell
Ruby
yeah.
on the new song, "Ugly as Amy Schumer." Poor Amy Schumer. And you're similar to Freddie Gibbs. You're really good at citing current trending topics, and I can tell like years down the line you might forget like what that was a reference to, but hearing it currently, I'm like, oh, he made this recently because that just happened, which I really enjoy.
I work fast. I like getting my songs out while they're still fresh off the
Yeah.
presses for sure.
You also reference I'm not gonna pronounce this right. Schmitty Van the SpongeBob. He was number one. Smitty Van, whatever his name is. You referenced Jorgen von Strangle, who I had to look up to make sure I was thinking of the Fairy Odd Parents. I'm like, is that the big guy? And that was correct.
That song had a lot of
Was that, yeah,
nostalgic
those were
cartoon references in it. That was
yeah,
Tides, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was Tides. And you said in a sentimental mood like John Coltrane. So that's your sampling, and that's the Diablo beat, correct? In a
Yeah,
sentimental
I
mood.
believe so.
Yeah. So like, what for you? Do you ever have to think like this might be too obscure, or do you just? I mean, I personally, when I do those references and no one gets it, I just do it for myself because I'm like, I'm clever as shit. Like, good for me. And if someone gets it, it's like, oh, that's even better. But like, what's your thought process when you're doing an obscure ass reference?
The my writing process is it's not formulaic at all. Literally, first thing that comes to my mind, I write down. I'm not constantly redlining the shit I write, and
Yeah.
I consume a fuck ton of media, and I'm
Hmm.
also a sucker for nostalgia. Um, I guess like the process with references is I think I naturally reference stuff a lot, and
Yeah.
I hyperfixate on a bunch of different categories. First of all, baseball, cartoons, old TV and movies, um, anime. Like there are so many different things that I spend a lot of time circling back to and researching. So when I'm writing and shit's just flowing on the paper, I'm not seeking punchlines or you know one-liners that I know are going to be Instagram
Yeah.
captions. Like it's literally just random references that fit into the rhyme scheme that they're always true to my interests and the stuff that I consume. Like I'm never like feeling out a rhyme scheme knowing
Yeah.
that like a name or person rhymes with the
Yeah. Yeah.
previous bar fits into the scheme, and then I have to research them to make sure that
Yeah.
they didn't murder anyone in the last 5 years. Like I it just flows on, and the themes and imagery in my music all circle around nostalgia, and I'd like to think I'm funny. My dad would say I'm the least funny person that exists, judging by my internet presence. But um, I like to stay relevant on the internet by consuming internet at all
Yeah.
fucking time. I'm
I'm
so addicted
chronically
to
on
social
Twitter.
media. So I'm constantly just, you know, other people that are suckers for nostalgia and trapped in their childhood. I'm seeing a lot of people regressing on social media and posting old obscure shit. Makes me it puts me back in my bag, and when I'm writing music, especially Tides, like the beat sounds like an 80s prom movie, which I mentioned in the song. Like it's a very dreamy,
Yeah.
um, like ethereal, uh, like city pop sampled beat. It just
Hmm.
feels like something from the 80s or 90s.
Yeah.
So just when I was in that mood and in that bag when I was writing it, that's just where my mind went. And the references are literally just all natural. A lot of my friends tell me like it's so insane how tapping into such obscure like
Yeah.
titles and names, but I've always been doing that shit. I love referencing stuff. I have so many interests that I try to tie into music,
Yeah.
and it shows in my lyrics for sure. But I appreciate you recognizing the obscure
No, I love it.
cartoons, because that's something that I like. I fall asleep to Fairly Odd Parents and Jimmy Neutron, and
The best
I'm
shows.
watching I'm watching a lot of TV that I haven't watched in
Those shows are funny,
15
like
years.
very low key as an adult. Like they make a lot of jokes for adults, and they're like, oh,
Well, it's a different like you have a different perspective watching it now than when you were a kid, and you realize there's different nuances and stuff that you didn't understand,
yeah.
and
Like if you
um
rewatch Shrek, it's hilarious. Like there's so many adult jokes in Shrek,
which I
and it's
have.
great
It's
now.
it's great. It's for everybody. But the references are literally just because I consume so much media, and
Yeah.
the I'm glad that they work as punchlines, and I'm glad that when you hear something that you feel like only you know, like
Yeah.
in your group of friends, when was the last time you guys talked about fucking Max and Ruby? It's
No, it's
it's
the best
something
thing
that
ever.
it's something that like I'll be writing and the words just materialize on the page. I'm not thinking about my flows or my rhyme schemes. Literally, my writing process is just hear the beat starts happening in my head, and
Yeah.
when I think of a reference like that, and it just
It's
appears
a
on the
great
page,
feeling.
I rejoice. It's such a
Yeah.
good feeling.
That's how like me and my camp friends, we talk in quotes, and I could quote like Truman Show, Interstellar, or I can quote other guys. Like we literally just talk in movie quotes, and then like I just love including that in my music. And if one of them gets it and texts me like, "Oh, I heard that line," I'm like, "Yes, thank God you got it." Or I'm a huge NBA fan, so I made a line about Deion Waiters and Tim Hardaway and the Rising Stars Challenge in like 2014. They kept going back and forth shooting threes, and I'm like, "That's a really good reference by me." I don't know if anyone will get that,
Yeah, and
but I'm like,
the second you write it, you're like, "Fuck yeah, people are gonna
like I'm
fuck with
him.
this."
So I just started
Exactly.
doing a weekly series where I like summarize what happened in big hip hop news every week. So if you watch it, you'll see that I had to explain to my parents as they're watching the videos what the cultural references mean, because I'm like, people who get it will love this, and it's very niche. But I'm like, trying to think of an example from this episode. I had to explain, like, I made a South Park reference when Randy Marsh plays Lord, if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, of
And I had
course.
and I said, because Ice Spice made a line about thank you the shit, but you not the fart. And I said maybe J. Cole secretly, like Randy Marsh and Lord, like he's in the bathroom with the Ice Spice wig writing music for her. And if you like South Park, you love that reference. If you don't, you're like, I don't really get it, but like that's a cute joke from that guy.
It's dude, I honestly also had a Randy Marsh Lord bar, and there's
Lord,
something
Lord,
about
Lord.
South Park references too that I'm always so happy to hear in the wild. That's another one of my biggest influences.
Yeah, shout out to them.
Hell
And
yeah,
now I have a question I've wanted to ask you for years since I've seen this video. What was the aftermath of that girl pulling the mic away from you?
so bad. It was so bad.
Did you like
It
flip it? Were
was
you like, what the fuck was that?
yeah. I mean, I understood her reasoning, and there's no bad blood. The worst part about this whole situation was, yeah, super embarrassing. Um, Huge party foul. Like you don't do that to an artist. You don't rip the mic out of their hand.
Yeah.
And by the way, for anyone watching this interview and doesn't know what's going on in
I'm going to put the video up
2020, yeah,
as
yeah.
this is happening.
In so the video you just saw in 2020, I was doing a show benefiting Black Lives Matter um, in DC. The same day, me and my friends went to the George Floyd protest outside the Capitol building, which was the biggest protest in American
Mm-hmm.
history. It was a phenomenal day. Was really cool to just, be
Be
part of
part of
it
that
and
moment.
be there in solidarity, and it was so cool. The energy was amazing. It was, met a lot of great people. But we booked a virtual show so we could raise some money.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the only white artist on the bill. And uh so the thought process with her ripping the mic out of my hand was um there was a time limit at the
Mm-hmm.
venue, and they were going to kick us out because we were doing the virtual show at an actual venue
Yeah.
space, and we couldn't go over the time limit. They would end the live stream, and there were um a couple other artists that were black that the host who ripped the mic out of my hand, she was like, they have to perform, which, by
Yeah.
the way, her thought process was solid. You know,
Yeah.
the, I completely understand, and I would have not done my set if it meant they would have
Other
more.
people
Like
can
I
perform.
didn't, there
Yeah.
was no issue there. the The issue just was how she did it. Just like ripped the mic out of my hand. She could have literally just looked at me and said, like, we have to
Time
stop.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. Like I'm not. It was just embarrassing, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react. I looked like a fucking idiot. Luckily,
I think you
you
look
know,
fine. I think you look good in it because you're just like kind of laughing about what just happened, which is
yeah,
like all
because
you really can
I'm
do.
not confrontational. I'm not the type of person to like fucking freak out. I'm gonna, keep a cool head. I just looked like I just felt stupid.
Yeah.
But like it was me, and like she said sorry immediately after when I told her that I was upset. I got in my car and drove back from DC to New York like instantly, and she called me and like apologized. Um, but the aftermath was crazy because it blew up. It went mega viral, and then people started posting her full name, address,
Ugh.
where she works, her social medias in the comments, and I was like, "What the fuck? Why do people?" This is crazy that they're this like stream my music if you want to support. Don't.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Heard
I
that.
didn't post this so that you could go attack this girl. She meant well. Like she
Yeah.
wasn't trying to embarrass me. She just was dumb as hell and did that. But yeah, she got hella doxxed. She got fired from her job. I think she was getting death threats. People were calling her. They leaked her phone number. I felt fucking miserable for her. I felt so bad. She hired a lawyer. They they
Jeez.
did a cease and desist. My lawyer was like, absolutely fucking not. You have no case. The show was live streamed on Ben's Twitch, and he's the subject of the video. Like, there's no
Yeah.
case here. So like the song that was playing Terrapin was going mega viral because of the video, obviously, and it was blowing up. So at that point, I had to think more about my career, and I was
Yeah.
erasing every comment bashing her or posting her info. But I'm obviously not going to ruin this opportunity where I got embarrassed to turn it into something that's going to benefit me.
Yeah.
Because I thought I looked dumb as hell. Like I didn't
Yeah.
want this shit to happen. But song blew up. My manager and my lawyer were like, "You're absolutely not taking the video down. In fact, you should post it like 5 more times,"
It's a
which
great
ended up
song.
happening. The doxing kept happening, the back and forth. It was a really rough situation, and I felt really bad about it. Yeah, it led to a lot of really bad personal shit between everyone
Yeah.
involved, and almost got sued. There was just no case there, but Terrapin popped off. That's really the aftermath. I live
It's
in
a
LA
great
now.
song.
The
I'm
song
happy.
or the video still lives on the internet, and it's everywhere still. I erased the original TikTok account I posted it on because people were only commenting shit about that video on everything
That's
I posted,
crazy.
and I really just did. I wanted to distance myself from it, but
Yeah.
rough time. It was COVID too, so I was just sitting in quarantine every day, just like feeling like I was caught in like a crazy crossfire between my team and her lawyers. And looking back, I mean, just maybe be smarter about the decisions you make when there's
Yeah.
a camera on you.
Understandable. Well, I want to end
Yeah.
this on a more positive note, but I want to give you this moment to talk about what you got coming, whether that's concerts or anything. Tag your socials for this episode so everyone can follow you. And yeah, what's coming from Ben Beal?
I have a song called Rockies dropping next week or 2 weeks. Yeah, January 26th. It's about my local deli in Westchester that I grew up going to. It's
Shot Rockies.
it's a deli that people drive hours for. It's fucking phenomenal. But more importantly, it's about the drive to the deli. It's about all the drives I've taken throughout my life and how at the time it just seemed like a quick little road trip to get a sandwich. But looking back, it was like some of the best memories I've ever had were just in the cars, smoking weed, listening to good music while on the way to get these sandwiches. About the journey, not the destination. So love that song. Super excited for it. I'm dropping an album with 1-2, who's
Whew.
yeah, I'm freaking out. He's been one of my favorite producers forever. So
He's amazing.
really cool to see, a finished product that we worked so hard on together. He just dropped an album with Conway too, so I feel like it couldn't have come at a better time. He's starting to really get his reps in with producing for rappers, and I feel like we're a perfect combination together. There's just so much space, and his beats really float. Like it gave me the freedom to really do some risky and experimental, um, you know, song directions on there. So super excited for that. Gonna announce it soon, and then I'm also working on my own solo album that kind of took a back
Oh,
seat when the 1-2 album started materializing. That's called Clumsy. I announced it on my last tour, but it's almost done. It's just I have this thing where second I finish an album and I listen to it, I'm like, I could do better. So did some surgery on it, and I'm, circling back. Me and my producer friends are working every day on it. But look out for Looking at Birds releases dropping literally every fucking Friday.
Sir.
It's separated from Ben Beal. It's just consider it me having fun in my
Bars
studio
over good
and
beats.
exactly. It's its own catalog. It's gonna coexist and live separately, but super fucking hyped about that. No shows or tour announcements yet, but I just actually had a big tour that fell through where I was supporting someone. Kind of happy about it though, because I'm trying to get to a point this year where I could sell out any city in the country.
Love to hear that.
At the moment, I can't do that without my super talented friends, but we're working towards it. So look out for that. And I'm Ben Beal on every social media. I am BENBEAL.
Well, Ben, thank you so much for coming on the show. If you made it this far into the podcast, thank you so much. Give us a like, follow, subscribe on YouTube. Follow me, Adam Dash, on Twitter. I'm trying to get my followers up. I need to talk to more people.
Hell yeah! You have my cosign. Super hyped to be part of this, and down anytime you want to chop it up.
Thank you, man. Well, thank you guys for joining in, and we'll see you next time. Peace.